we're having some technical difficulties right now. Sorry.
I have a very good friend who had a facelift. She visited me the other day and she said, you don't have any wrinkles. And I said, and before I could say anything, she said, it's because you're so fat. Fat fills up. Now I'm afraid to lose weight. Before the facelift.
I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 Welcome to Lunch Therapy. I think Boney's doing some of his own programming. Got one of his friends there on the show. I don't know who that is. Some mysterious woman doing stand-up comedy, very funny. Wow. I'm a little stressed today. This is the place where we let our stress go and just relax. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, what do I do about my stress? I've been meditating, but I'm always looking for new ways. And they said, you should listen to tapes. And I was like, tapes? That's a great idea. So I started out with some masking tape. It just, I don't know. I listened to it. It doesn't really have a good sound, but then I found duct tape. And duct tape, it's quite extraordinary. It's kind of going around these days. If you notice the new Batman movie in the trailer, it starts out with the sound of duct tape. I think it's kind of in the consciousness lately. Duct tape. It's a beautiful sound. I looked up ASMR duct tape on the web to see if I could, get some ASMR duct tape, but I wouldn't do that. Don't do that. Especially at work. It's not really what you expect. Let's get into the breathing. I see Ganelle is here. I see some other people here. Today we have Gini Sikes. She's going to tell some stories. I wore my cat shirt. I wore my hat from Zacatecas, Mexico. It's down there at Alex Flores' wedding. It's just incredible. One of the most incredible weddings I've ever been to. So whenever I wear this hat, I remember him. I remember that wedding, his wife, the whole thing. It was beautiful. It was in a bullfighting ring, a defunct bullfighting ring. Extraordinary. Anyway, so let's move into our breathing. I've got another good treat for you. It is, again, some ASMR for y'all. More incredible than your wedding, Ganelle says. I have trouble with the comments in this one. We'll get to that. We will get to that. My wedding. That was extraordinary. Okay, so we have Kyler Boone's Nomadic Ambiance in the background. It's a waterfall. Down a little bit. Maybe a little too loud. But it's time to breathe. Let's get into this thing. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let the oxygen permeate your body. Let it go. Tomorrow is Interview Friday, and we have the incredible Michael Monks is going to be on. So invite all your actor friends, because this is an actor's actor. He's also one of the best acting teachers in the city. We're going to learn some stuff. I think old Ben Gervich is going to learn some stuff. Yep, I think he'll be there. All the way from Australia. All right, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it out. When I let it out, I like to kind of shake it out. In through the nose, out through the toes. Everybody now, even the ones who are not doing it. That's you, Ginny. Hold it. Ginny is waiting in the wings with Boney. He's probably trying to get her high. Let it go.
I have to go slow now. Very slow. I drive slowly. I used to pass everyone on the street, but now I don't pass police cars, they don't pass on the right, they don't pass on the left. I just enjoy the trip. Coming here, it's 2.5 hours. Under the freeway, watching the migrating butterflies. Kept going.
Who is that mysterious woman that Boney keeps putting on the screen? I think that is from something called For the Love of Comedy. It's a show that Cynthia Levin puts on. She's doing another one this Saturday night on Zoom, and you're all invited. Here's the flyer. It's actually called You Bet Your Ass, a comedy show that gets you right where you live. I'm going to be in it. Cade's going to be in it. Chris Shane, Harlan. A lot of the Lunch Therapy favorites are going to be there. Cynthia's friend Linda Lovin is hosting. Adam Barnhart is just amazing, hilarious guy. Hopefully we can get him on the show. Kim Diaz as well, Susanna Spies. It's going to be off the hook, as they say. Speaking of off the hook, I've got a hummingbird video that I have to show you before we get to Ginny. And it's pretty extraordinary, and maybe you can explain it to me. Maybe some of you hummingbird experts out there can explain what the hell is going on with this, because I'm not quite sure. It scared me at first, but don't be scared. It's totally fine. Here we go. So here it is. It is
a sleeping hummingbird.
Sleeping
hanging
hummingbird.
From his feeder.
This is out there on the web. Maybe you can explore this and explain it to me. Do hummingbirds sleep upside down like bats? First I thought, something's wrong. Then I looked through some of the comments. Apparently this is what they do. They sleep upside down like bats. We'll have to get the bat on the show to talk about this, because I don't get it, but it's cool. Super cool. What else we got today? He doesn't wake him up. If you ever see a hummingbird like this, don't wake him up. It's like they're in a dream. This is another super cool thing that I've got to show you. This person, Magic Fluids HDR. Wow. Roman D. Julie. Yeah, I can only show a little bit of this, but I just wanted to call your attention to it because, wow. Right? Wow. Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. I don't know, I just did something bad, but let's move on. There we go. Probably shouldn't be playing this music anyway. I like what it's doing to my hat. Yeah, check him out. I was trying to put his name on the screen, but it's down there. Super rad. All right, quick. Okay, let me just stop this for a second. Last week we were talking about jetpacks. We had Tom Kearney on the show, and he was like, well, how come we don't have jetpacks? I was like, we're never going to get them. He said, we're going to get them someday. They're working on them. He said that they saw a jet flying through the air, and a guy on a jetpack like flew by, which, I find that hard to believe, actually. Anybody in the chat room have any comments on jetpacks because I think they're coming. I think they're here. This isn't quite a jetpack, but it's pretty cool. Watch this. This is nuts. Is this happening, or is this some kind of lie? Is this some kind of CGI trick? Are they tricking us? They're always, you notice the jetpacks are always over water though, because I think they go down a lot. This is crazy. We got to get this guy on the show, or some jetpack people on the show. I hear that they're not actually called jetpacks, they're called jet belts. That was just a thing I heard. All right, that was blowing my mind. Got a little hopped up there. But you know, we should be hopped up because we got a super big treat coming our way. Gini Sikes, the wonderful Gini Sikes, who's been on the show before telling us about her pet ducks. Today, we're going to check in with Gini because I hear she's got some crazy stories. So we're on our way. Here's the little intro for Crazy Stories.
Got a crazy story I don't understand. Come and have a cup of tea. Seems like I should have got a Netflix deal. Instead I got some therapy. Crazy story, yeah. Crazy story, yeah.
Gini Sikes. I have this weird thing where these words come over my guest just before they come on. And it's just the thing I'm living with right now. But it's so good to see your lovely face. You are looking great today. Welcome.
Thank you. I am very excited to be here.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, after that rocket pack, I want to know how much that costs.
I know. I don't think, Jenny, after seeing you work with your printer, I'm not sure you could handle that. I think that's like a couple of steps past computer peripherals.
Yeah, my driving's pretty bad too.
Yeah, I've seen some of your driving. I remember going to pick you up after an episode one time with your driving. But we So, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe start small, baby steps, right? So, what's happening with you? I hear you have some crazy stories. I wore my cat shirt today, anticipating maybe some animal stories, some delightful, pleasant, mood-altering stories that uplift us and make us feel so good.
Yeah, I saw Ganelle's comment about how many ducks died.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are all accidental deaths, unintentional.
Kate says little louder. I just cranked up your voice, so thank God. Thank God
you.
for Cade. Yeah, Ganelle's cheeky, so you got to watch it because he's really distracting, and he's very, very, very cynical. He can be very cynical, and he's like a heckler sometimes.
Well, he can go ahead. I can take it, but I do have another animal story.
You do? All right. I'm so looking forward to that. Tell me a crazy story, Ginny.
Well, I know you like uplifting. So you know how when you're really super depressed, but you don't recognize it in yourself? And
Yeah.
I'm getting reverb.
Are you getting reverb? All right, hold on. I can handle it. Nobody get alarmed. Everything's cool. How about now?
Okay, perfect.
You good?
So this uplifting story begins with a really bad depression.
Mhm.
I was living in New York City, like in my early 30s. And have you had that sort of depression where you're depressed, but you don't know it?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, it's like you feel like you're walking through peanut butter. Everything takes so much.
Most of my college career.
There you go. and, and what really, so I wasn't, I kind of lost myself, but I wasn't recognizing it. And the thing that really let me know that something wasn't going well was I, like you, am a cat lover. And I had this beautiful brown Burmese cat. It was very sleek, named Bob. And I love this cat. The cat and I would drink coffee together.
What?
It lit- we
Wait
would
a minute. The cat would drink coffee?
Yeah, it would wait till I was like at the end, and then it would it would sit next to me while we watched TV, and then it would paw my hand, and I'd give it the remainder of the coffee. It also would talk to me, like when I would do my dishes, I'd say it would stand on the sink, and I'd go, "Do you think this dish is clean?" And go, "Meow." I said, "Do you need this more?" Meow. And I'd put it in and go, "Now," and go, "Meow." So
I do think that cats talk. They have different meows. They just can't say words, but they definitely verbalize things. Wait, I just want to say one thing. Ginny, do giraffes have vocal cords?
very, very long ones.
I guess.
They're like
I've never
cellos.
heard one say anything, though.
They do. I think they do make a noise. I was in Africa, and I think I heard.
I'm
one.
just wondering because now I'm totally sidetracking. I'm being like the chat room. I saw an interview with Tom Waits. They asked him, do giraffes have vocal cords? And he said no, and they said he was right. And I never looked it
Really?
up. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look it up.
He
for
said they
tomorrow.
got a choice. You either get a really long neck and no vocal cords or vocal cords and a short neck. They went for the long one.
Wow, I got to look that up later and text you.
All right, let's get back to the cat.
So anyway, so what let me know I was depressed is Bob, this cat, became very ill, like very suddenly. And I knew it wasn't normal and that I should take him to an emergency vet, but I didn't have the energy.
Yeah.
And so I just took him 5 blocks away to my local vet who said, I think you should take this cat to the emergency thing. And I said, no, I can't deal with it. Just help him. And I went back home and he died.
What?
Yeah. And then they called me to come and get his ashes. And I never went and picked him up. And it wasn't because I have a problem with cremated animal remains in my apartment. It was like I just couldn't get to walk to go get him. So I'm like, okay, something is seriously wrong. And Todd, we can see you.
Yeah, well, apparently in YouTube, the chats are not coming through. So switch over to Facebook, go to joelmarshall.com, jump onto Facebook or Twitch or something like that, because for some reason, YouTube is not giving us the love. So we've been gone for a while. This turns into a weird cat show.
Well, it turned into a weird show. It's not just about cats.
It's just a weird show, period. Sometimes there's puppets.
Right.
Anyway.
So the cat dies and I am just numb and I'm like, I've never been without an animal in my life. And I'm like, I'm not going to get another pet because they just die on you. And then, so I went like this for a month, and about one afternoon, the Russian lady who lives below me knocks on my door. Sound effect.
Oh, I like that.
And she says, rat in toilet, you come. I'm like, what? She goes, rat in toilet. See, we lived above a pizza parlor. Mm-hmm. Everybody in New York lives above a pizza parlor. Mm-hmm. So there were lots of rats and mice, but I didn't have them because I had a cat.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I need another cat. So I forced myself to go to a shelter. And it was the end of the day, and they said, we're about to close. You can't adopt anything, but if you want to look for, later. And I'm like, that's perfect because I don't want to commit.
Yeah.
So I go inside and it's dark. Like they started turning off the lights and all the cats are asleep. So I'm like, well, this sucks. And I'm about to leave. And then I hear this scraping noise. And at my eye level, it's a cat is in a cage. This huge black fat cat with a way too small head, and he's in his litter box taking a big smelly dump.
Oh.
And I'm like, Jesus. And I go like, well, I'm out of here. So I start to walk out, And then the cat meows. She goes, meow. And I turn around, and what I hear is help. And I walk back, and the cat, is meowing and rubbing its head against the bars. And I'm like, fuck. So I go back out, and she says, you can't adopt one. I said, no, that's fine. I just wanted to ask about that black, fat one with a little head. And she goes, do you want him? And I said, well, I don't know, maybe. She goes, well, if you want him, you can take him today. And she said, may I ask why?
Yeah.
You want this cat? And I said, well, I looked at the sign. It said it was 8 years old and nobody's going to adopt an 8-year-old cat. She said, well, it was adopted, but they brought it back.
Uh-oh.
Right. But
that's a red flag.
Exactly. She didn't say why, which is a bad sign, but all of a sudden she's thrusting me this cardboard box in my arm saying, here, take him.
Yeah.
So I go, I flag a cab, and I'm in the cab thinking, I am a really good person. I'm taking this cat, and I'm sitting there thinking, I feel warm. And then I literally started to feel warmth. I was like, wow, I'm having a physical feeling of warmth because I'm so great. And then I started to feel wet. Oh. And the cat was pissing through the cardboard box onto my lap.
Oh.
Yeah. And I had to tell the cab driver when he pulled up, well, thankfully he had leather seats. I said, I'll run into the pizza parlor and get some napkins and clean your car. So then I take this, which was lovely. So then I walk up the 6 flights of steps with this wet box. I release the cat into my studio apartment, and he's this blobby, fat, gassy thing. And he starts sniffing around. And I'm thinking, well, maybe he's sniffing for mice. And he sniffs, and he jumps on my futon. And then I see him squat down, and I'm going, no. And before I can stop him, he pisses all over it.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, he's smelling. I wasn't smelling the cat pee so well with the napkin. So he's smelling my dead cat, and he's marking his territory. Oh. So I read somewhere that cats don't like aluminum foil. Mm-hmm. This was before the internet. God knows where I heard that. So
Wait, cats don't like aluminum foil?
Why they would know that?
I'm going to have to test that out. You mean if you show some aluminum foil to your cat, you're like, no.
I guess it's like a microwave. Like you put it by them and
it's like a microwave.
So I would go to the bodega and I buy 5 rolls of Reynolds wrap, and I come back up and 6 floors, and I wrap my entire futon in aluminum foil.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, there you go, cat. And by the way, I've named him Sluggo because I thought it sounded gross, and he was gross. And Sluggo looks at it, jumps on it, and then just pees on one section, moves over to the other, pees on that, and then pees on the third. So now I have collected urine puddles.
Oh my God. That's no way to start a life with a cat.
So I'm like, I better call the place where I adopted him, because I'm like, okay, now I'm understanding why he was returned. So I call him up, and whoever answers, I said, hey, I have the cat that I adopted from you, and it's peeing all over my couch. He said, well, that sucks. I'd bring him back. And then I hear the woman who adopted him to me. She jumps on the phone and she says, don't bring him back. Lock him in the bathroom until he pees in the litter box. And I'm thinking, I don't want to lock a cat in the bathroom. And she goes, well, if you bring him back here, he will not get adopted. So I stick him in my bathroom for 2 days, feeding him, and he finally uses the litter box.
You did.
So, but then another problem happens. I develop a horrible allergy to him. I've never been allergic to cats, but now I'm sneezing, I have red eyes, I'm like, how am I supposed to keep this cat? This is a sign from God. I don't need it.
Yeah.
But
you have to keep it because it will die otherwise.
Exactly. And I'm kind of tired of killing animals, because my cat Bob, it's his fault, my fault that I didn't take him.
Believe me, you do not want that on your conscience. I'll tell you that.
So
You
I
have to make
decided,
up for it a lot with cats after cat after cat.
and ducks.
And ducks.
So, and alligators too, but that's another story. But anyway, so I was going to call a vet to find out what I could do. And I thought, well, I better not call my vet because I've never picked up the ashes. So I just choose a vet at random. And somebody gets on the phone and I said, is there anything you can do if you're allergic to a cat? And he says, well, you can try Downy fabric softener.
What?
Yeah.
This is to prevent you from being allergic. You're going to use Downy fabric softener on the cat.
Well, at first I said, on me? I was like, and he goes, no, on the cat. And I was like, and he said, so I go, okay. I hang up the phone. I go to the bodega. They only have one bottle of Downy fabric softener, lightly scented in lilac. I bring it back up. I'm like, I don't know how much to put on. So I kind of, pour it on him, rub it in. And by this time I'm exhausted. And so I go to bed.
You just left it on him?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much I left on. I was just.
This is turning into a very dark story.
So I go to bed and about 4 a.m. I wake up and I hear these gurgling noises and I switch on the light and Sluggo is in bed, glassy eyed, foaming. Yeah. So I'm like, holy shit. I pick him up and I run to the bathtub and I get in the bathtub with him and I put him under the water. And so I'm rinsing him and he's just like collapsing in my arms. Like it's not reviving him. So I pull him out and now he's like, just flopping around. So I'm in my pajamas, but I know like this time I really do have to go to the emergency vet, the one I didn't go to before. So I go downstairs at 4 a.m.
You're being arrested.
I know, I should be. I get in a cab with this dying cat, just this wet, bubbling cat. And I go to the emergency vet in my pajamas and I come in and by the time they let me in and the doctor says, what's going on? And I said, my cat's been poisoned. Oh. And he said, do you know with what? And I said, yeah, Downy fabric softener. And he says, how do you get in Downy fabric softener? And I said, I put it on him. and he looks at me and he said, why did you do that? Yeah. I said, because this vet told me.
The vet told you to. It's not like you're a cat torturer or something.
Right. And this vet does not believe me. He's like I'm trying to so he doesn't know what to do either. So he, we call the Procter and Gamble poison hotline. But they don't have any protocol regarding the use of Downy fabric softener on a cat.
Cats. Not recommended usage, I don't think.
I was the very first case. So they didn't know what to say. Yeah. So the vet says, well, I don't know what to tell you, go home and maybe he'll recover. And then he charges me.
Whoa.
So I'm like, I take the cat and I go back outside in my pajamas. I take a bus because it's now like 7 a.m. And I take the bus I find out where the original vet is. And I take a bus with him and I demand to see him. And I walk in and I go, my cat is dying because of Downy fabric softener. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what? And he said, how'd that happen? I said, I put it on him. And he looks at me like, why? I go, because you told me to. And he says, well, how much did you put on? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know that you didn't tell me. And then he said, well, what kind of Downy fabric softener?
Lavender.
Lightly scented lilac.
Oh, lilac.
And he said, why would you put scented fabric softener on them? And I'm like, I never would have put any fabric softener on him at all. So he goes, well, I don't know what to tell you. You just go home and he should get over it. And he charges me. So
I hope this is going to end well.
I get back on the bus.
I'm getting scared now.
I get back on the bus and Sluggo's in my lap.
Yeah.
He starts to come to, he starts looking at me and I'm thinking, I've done a horrible deed to this cat. And it looks at me like I'm its savior. Oh. And he starts purring and he rubs against me. And I was like, I did save him in that I rescued him. and I start to feel like I am a good person. And he brought me out of my depression because I got over my allergies and he lived another 8 years.
8 years. Oh, thank God.
But I
was
still think
frightened.
Dr. Campbell owes me for the vet bills.
Yeah, and I'm still not letting you cat sit anytime soon. I'll tell you that. This vet business is a racket. Cade
Yes,
knows
it
because
is, Cade.
one of his best friends is a cat.
Oh, I was going to say he's a vet.
He's a vet, yeah. He could be. He could be. Someday. You know what? Okay. I wanted to ask you a question. That was a delightful story, by the way. I'm glad it had such a lovely end, where you saved its life and it rejuvenated you, and you were both learned something, and you never put fabric softener on a cat. And now we've informed everybody out there never to put fabric softener on a cat, and also don't eat those little laundry pods either. You know, do you remember that? There was like a thing where people were eating laundry pods. Don't do it.
Don't?
No, don't, no, don't do that, and don't put them on cats.
Don't tell your niece to eat one?
No, don't eat any of them. They look delicious, but no. Okay, here's my question for you. You said that you liked the dancing bear in Captain Kangaroo.
Well, I was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
Because as a child, I just thought, why does it have this big round circle for a mouth, yet it makes no sound?
It's so true. It's so true. This is something that has plagued me for a long time as well. This is why I bring it up. I'm going to show you like a little clip of the bear here, if I can. You know, here it is. Here it is. You might not be able to hear it because I changed it.
Going round in circles. Going round in circles.
So I think it's a nose. There's that.
Oh.
I think it's a nose. That's what I'm guessing. But I'm not sure. But growing up in Seattle, Washington, we had a much more difficult problem, but it's a related problem. We had this guy named J.P. Patches, who was a clown. He lived in the city dump. He was the mayor of the city dump. But he had a friend.
Clown? Did he dress as a clown?
Oh yeah, that was him. And his friend looked like this. That's his friend there. And it was the same kind of situation. I'll show you a video. It's a pretty good video.
Secret room, alakazoo.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga.
Patty Maxine and Laverne, I can hear them. I've got a case of the bouncies down there. Well, hi, Gorst. Boy, that was quite a blast. Hi, Patty. Hi, Maxine. Hi, Laverne.
So I don't know what to make of that. What?
It looks like it has a tracheotomy.
You think? Like it smoked too much?
No, do you notice the hole is in its throat where the...
Yeah. I think it's an eye. You know why I think it's an eye? And maybe some people in the chat room might be experts on this. I don't know. I'm having a hard time showing this stuff, but look at that.
No, but then what's... Oh, you're right. Maybe that's...
See, because it's got the eyebrow.
Yeah. You're right, and that's probably where the human's head is.
The human?
Well, the thing it ate that can...
Oh, that it moves it around. It lived in the basement. It seems to have an antenna, and it had flipper feet.
It's
And
like,
it looks like it could maybe handle some downy fabric softener.
It looks like living mold.
And you know what the name of that character was? Does anybody know? Anyone out there? Clearly a vagina.
Ooh, a vagina from the 70s.
Looked like a trach. I think early version of the Weedle. We had something in Seattle as well called the Weedle, which was actually lived on the Space Needle. Looked similar, but it actually had a face. This guy's name was Gorst the Friendly Furple. Don't even know what that is.
It looks like something that grows on the bottom of, a food container.
I love that sound. They used to play that ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka every time he came out. And that's That's cool. I used to say that when I got a hangover, I would hear that sound. You know?
Joel, I know we're probably going to have to go soon, but can
Yeah.
I ask your viewers a question?
Yeah.
This is
We'll have to
based-
wait like 5 minutes to get their
Oh, no,
response.
they can tell you tomorrow. They can tell you tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just that you've been playing these clips, and you were playing the Captain Kangaroo Dancing Bear.
Yeah.
I'm really obsessed with Captain Kangaroo, but there was a bit that they used to do where Mr. Moose would come out, and Mr. Moose could talk and Bunny Rabbit couldn't. They have all these weird mute animals, but some could talk. But if Mr. Moose said a certain word, all these ping pong balls would rain down on the captain's head. So he was always trying to get the captain to say this word. And I don't know what the word is, and I'm wondering, I'm sure there's a clip if anybody in your audience knows that.
Wow. I'm going to leave that up to the audience because I don't know. You were the one who explained to me that Ollie is the dragon in Kukla, Fran, and Ollie, and Kukla is the little clown.
That whatever I said, that's right.
Yeah, I think Kukla means clown. I think that's the thing. Anyway, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. It's always great.
It's always great to have you on the show. No matter what Gnil says, it's just really a good time. And I'm going to end with a dance break. So I'm cruising on out of here for a dance break. We've got this band. I don't know if you've heard of this band. They're called Skye, and it's spelled Skeye.
How original.
Yeah, original. I know. Well, you have to spell it differently because when people search for sky, they're just going to get pictures of the sky, right? Anyway, here we go. I'll see you later. This has been Gini Sikes on Crazy Stories, Lunch Therapy, Thursday. Okay, here we go. It's time for Sky.
He left no time to regret. Kept his spirit wet.
This is another incredible performer that I can only show part of because you have to go check her out, check them out at skyband.com.
And my tears dry.
She's got an incredible voice.
Without my guide.
Tomorrow for Interview Friday, we have Michael Monks. He is a great actor that you've seen in tons of things. And he's also my acting teacher. Yep. So he's going to talk some nuts and bolts, acting profession. He's going to answer some of Ben Gervich's questions. He's not going to talk while somebody sings. All right, we'll see you tomorrow for Michael Monks on Interview Friday.